Have you ever felt it? That strange moment when a place feels too familiar. A conversation you somehow already know. A decision that feels less like a choice and more like a memory. Most people call it déjà vu. But there's a theory that says it's something far more disturbing. This theory says you've already lived this life before, and you're living it again. According to this theory, time isn't a straight line, it's a loop. Not for the universe, not for everyone, but for you. The idea is simple but terrifying. When you die, you don't move on. You restart. Same body, same parents, same life. The only difference? You don't remember it. Scientists tell us memory is stored in the brain. So when the brain shuts down, memory disappears. But what if memory doesn't fully disappear? What if fragments remain? Not as thoughts, but as feelings. That would explain why some fears make no sense, why some people feel nostalgic for moments they've never lived, why children talk about places they've never been, and why sometimes you feel like you've been here before. The theory goes deeper. It says the loop only breaks when you do something different. But here's the catch. Most people don't. They wake up, they follow routines, they make safe choices, they repeat patterns. So the loop continues again and again and again. There was an experiment once. A man kept a journal for decades, writing down his dreams. Over time, he noticed something strange. His dreams weren't random. They were memories, arguments that hadn't happened yet, accidents he hadn't experienced yet, conversations word for word, days before they occurred. At first, he thought it was coincidence, until one day he avoided a car crash he had already dreamed about. That night, his dreams stopped. Completely. The theory says this happens when you step off the path you've already taken before, when you break the loop. But most people never do. And that's why the world feels repetitive. The same mistakes, the same cycles, the same stories with different faces. The theory claims history isn't repeating itself. We are. Here's the most disturbing part. According to this theory, the loop exists for a reason, not as a punishment, but as a test. Each life is a chance to change something important, to choose differently, to grow. And when you finally do, you wake up somewhere else. Not heaven, not hell, just elsewhere. So what about déjà vu? The theory says déjà vu happens when two timelines briefly overlap. When your current self lines up perfectly with who you were the last time you lived this moment. For a split second, you remember, and then it's gone. Your brain rejects it, because remembering too much would ruin the test. Think about this. Why do some moments feel more important than others? Why do some choices feel heavier? Why does your gut sometimes scream when logic is quiet? The theory says your intuition is memory trying to speak, not from this life, but the one before. And here's a question no one asks. If this is your second or third or 100th time living this life, how many times have you failed to change it? How many times have you ignored the signs, the feelings, the moments that felt like they mattered? And what if this time you're not meant to repeat it again? Maybe that's why you found this video, not by accident, but because you've been here before and something in you knows this time is different. If this theory is true, then one thing matters more than anything else. The choices you make when it feels uncomfortable, when it feels risky, when it feels important. Because those are the moments that decide whether the loop continues or finally ends. And if you ever feel that strange familiarity again, that quiet feeling that whispers, "I've been here before." Maybe it's not your imagination. Maybe it's a reminder. You've already lived this moment, and this time you're supposed to do something different.